So for our next legendary unit that's going to be available in 13 minutes, she has 158 BST and she scores as if she has 180 with the dual effect, which means that Lilina is the first step backwards in the score ceiling for legendary units that we have ever had.
Yeah, you and Legion talked about this yesterday, whether it should be 185 or 180. And Legion was the one who called 180, right?
Yep.
Yep, you got it right. So it is weird, but ultimately, let's just be frank here. I don't think it makes much of a difference. She still scores well enough to run an arena anyways. And on Fire Seasons, you would still run her. So
she's still going to be good enough to actually run, but she's not pushing the score ceiling like Edelgard does. She's only reaching the same potential score ceiling as Legendary Celica. And yes, that is a super boon in attack. Her super banes are HP, defense, and res.
Okay. But to quickly put things into perspective, chat, Edelgard's effect never really made sense anyways, right? Legendary Edelgard was 185 BST with a merge, but her effect was wait, she's actually 180?
179 is her standard BST.
Okay, so it doesn't change anything for Fire Seasons. It's Legendary Edelgard and Legendary Lilina both reach 180 then.
Yep.
Okay, in terms of scoring,
that being said, in terms of scoring potential, Edelgard has a higher score ceiling than Lilina does because of Raging Storm.
Merry Christmas, Bruno. Happy Christmas. That's the first time I heard Happy Christmas today, but thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you too. Welcome back. 5 months.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you as well.
All right. Okay, so real quick stat check. It's 39 HP, 42 attack, 21 speed, 16 defense, and 40 res. This is nothing new because we saw this in the trailer itself. But those are really solid stats. She's a very min-max unit. Low speed, low defense for high attack, high res, which is exactly what you want from Lilina. She's, I mean, I've said this before. I feel like she's just like a revamped Ophelia, except she's red now.
With more attack.
With more attack.
More attack, specifically.
That's the crazy thing. Because Ophelia's AoE will do anywhere from 1 to 1.5x. But because Lilina has more attack, Lilina has more attack, Lilina has better setup in terms of her skills. The damage output should basically be the same. And she has more reach.
Also, Lilina has native Hardy Bearing, whereas Ophelia needs to run the seal. So when it comes to actually doing more damage, you can just give Lilina attack defense solo, and then she'll do more in-combat damage after that splash happens.
Yeah, I think people lose their minds over the splash damage itself, because the reality is, since you get that hit guaranteed in, it's the same pool of damage. It doesn't matter if your AoE does like 99%, like drops in 1 HP, you're still gonna kill them. Like, whoop-de-doo, they have like 20 HP left. You still one-shot them, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, Lilina's a really, really good hero. Her base kit really doesn't dictate anything to change, because her B skill, which by the way, that's the thing that sets her apart from Ophelia. Ophelia has to use Hardy Bearing, has to use Special Spiral. To catch up to what Lilina has. Lilina has consolidated everything you've needed on Ophelia into just her weapon, and Lilina's in a class of her own. We really don't have a hero like this. That's true. Oh, no, she really is, because in terms of AoE spamming, it was really just Ophelia. Igrin was the closest other hero, and I guess you can argue you can do slaying AoE builds on a bunch of different characters, but they're like not designed for it. But you could do it. But in terms of
Ares.
Huh?
Ares. Slaying and spiral in the weapon.
Yes, okay. I guess Ares as well, yeah. But he doesn't have it instantly. That's the only issue.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, in terms of instant, it would be Ophelia. In terms of design to spam it as well, after fighting at least one time, it's Ares. And then Lilina's the concept of like ranged on a cav. Her threatening range is huge. But where do you think she's going to be more annoying? Aether raids or arena?
Both.
I think it's both, but I think in arena, I don't know how I'm going to deal with her. You have to bait her in. It's so stupid. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
you might be dead. Yeah. I think in Arena, when you fight her... Again, guys, she's going to rank as 180. So if you fight Legendary Edelgards right now, you're going to fight Lilina's. They score the same. So, Lilina is going to be so annoying.
About the same.
Huh?
About the same. Edelgard has 2 points higher as a potential ceiling than Lilina does because of Raging Storm.
Okay. Well, honestly, I still think you would see her because...
Oh yeah, you're going to see Lilina.
Right. So, yeah, I think she's super annoying there. In Aether raids, at the very least, people will hesitate to deploy her because you can't bless her with Aether raid blessings. Still,
We're going into Fire Month.
Still, we have seasons where they will have fire blessings, so they can be deployed, so they'll get the extra stats. And if you do run into a Lilina, it's probably gonna be Ophelia and Lilina, because if you have double AOE, I think that catches most people. Most Vanish heroes, again, like if you have a Vanish hero, you can beat this with like Miracle and stuff, right? Tank the AOE, then Miracle through the actual attack, and then you double back and kill them. But you can't do that twice because you won't have Miracle twice. So
If the AoE doesn't reduce you to 1 HP.
right, if the AoE reduces you 1 HP, Miracle doesn't do anything. But that's the idea. I think
Repel and Close Call do work against her, and same thing for Brave Dimitri, but it's also dependent on how much actual res you have. If you don't have good res, you're still going to be taking a massive chunk of damage.
because we did a calc yesterday with Legion. I was under an impression that even if they had like, you know, distant counter, repel, and they got the full 40% off on you, they still die. Being red heroes is what I looked at it as if. Legion calculated it, you do survive by like a handful of HP, like 10 HP at best, depending on how many mythic heroes you have. You could die prior. If you didn't have any mythic heroes, you could die. But if you have mythic heroes, because of the extra stats and HP, you would survive by a handful of HP. Which is, again, even if you survive in that scenario, if they have like Ophelia or another character that does an AoE who can also be covered. God, do you realize how stupid that would be? Like, chat, do you realize you could have Ophelia right in front of Lilina, and then you have a blue AoE with a red AoE, and they both can use Hardy... Well, it's effectively Hardy Bearing on both, which Ophelia doesn't run Hardy Bearing. But you know what I mean, right? Like, how do you stop that? That's so ridiculous. You have to heal back a ton and like tank through the damage. All right, we might as well do a few comparisons then. Huh.
Would you say Lilina would work well with Bernie and
What
Winter
comparisons?
To any other hero. There's nothing
close to this.
Yeah, I'm saying in terms of stats. There's no direct comparison. I mean, that's what I opened with. I said the closest thing was Ophelia, but that doesn't really match up because red, Cav, AoE spammer.
I mean, I can still pull up the stats. I suppose there's something close enough in that.
Yeah. The one that caught my attention was Duo Sigurd.
Their stats are actually very similar.
Yeah, there you go.
Duo Sigurd, though, is a dancer, which comes with a stat penalty.
Mm-hmm.
To preface, Duo Sigurd has only 147 BST. He has 38 HP, 38 attack, 18 speed, 16 defense, and 37 res. So, identical defense, 3 less speed, 4 less attack. Or did I say 37? No, 4 less attack and 1 less HP with 3 less res. So that's where pretty much all of that difference comes from.
Right. So Lilina's basically just the Duo Sigurd archetype. That's actually so interesting. One's a dancer and one's AoE spammer. They're both very unique. But honestly, I think that was it.
Duo Sigurd does have damage reduction against magic foes, though. 50% in combat.
In combat. And that's the thing about Lilina chat. I'm not really sure which heroes stop her. Like, straight up, flat out stop her.
Legendary Dimitri?
Outside Legendary Dimitri. We talked about that yesterday, too, yeah. Because both Dimitris actually could do that. Because one's damage reduction via defense, one's other damage reductions via speed, so... They both can...
Capable of it, but Brave Dimitri needs much more shoring up on his res.
Yeah, you got 2 options there. But outside of those two, I guess if you're like if for example Chris with Spurn could do it, female Chris. But you never see that as an option. And I guess Hector.
Because she always gets foddered off for Spurn.
Yeah, she always gets foddered off for Spurn. That's the sad part. Male Chris is even better because you can get a joint drive attack. I think if you are going to use Lilina in your defensive teams, run her with Ophelia. Run them like side by side practically. So your opponent gets hit by 2 AoEs guaranteed. But the other way to deal with her, I would say, is if you have a Gale Force team. Right? She has very low defense, very low res. But that's actually her defense against Gale Force teams. If she dies in one shot, she doesn't allow you to choke Gale Force.
Unless the Gale Force team is designed to have minimal cooldown.
Right. But that's the thing. Like, it's funny how the counter towards like a Gale Force team would just be dying too fast.
It sounds really dumb when you put it that way.
But yeah, chat. Oh, we are about at reset. 1 minute till reset.
Not even at this point.
Well, are you seriously gonna argue with me about 1 minute? Okay, whatever. Sure, whatever. Anyways, I don't think there's too much to talk about her. I think the counters. If you have Hector, I think you counter anything and everything in Aether Raids anyways.
Like I said before, if she gets any attack buffs, Brave Hector actually dies. Assuming equal merges.
Assuming equal merges.
Neutral.
That's the
if he's plus res, then maybe it can be stacked to where he survives, but it's going to be a barely kind of thing. It's extremely close.
Because here's the thing, I don't get like even matchups very often, right? Like if you are going to commit to Lilina and you have extra merges and whatnot, get plus attack and all that stuff, yeah, that is a huge. But the Brave Hectors that I've been fighting have all just been like at least merge, at least like buffed up and stuff. So I give him the favor there. And because of how he's often built up, you hit him and he hits back and he heals a ton. So even if he doesn't die, there's a good chance the rest of the team has a legitimate chance of killing her. All right. Anyways, I don't think there's too much to talk about Lilina. She's a great hero. I definitely suggest going for her because at the end of the day, going for Lilina also means going for Regan, going for Plumeria. Both are amazing. So yeah, good luck on getting Lilina. Got anything else to add, Mad Crash?
I mean, red is still super stacked. No way around that.
Yep.